The city of Orlando isn't just growing, it's actually lapping the entire country. And look, before you say it, I know what you're thinking. Jared, every single month, there's a new story about how Orlando is booming. We're talking about another subdivision or another restaurant opening or another record-breaking tourist number about this city. But here's what I'm saying. The last 30-day cycle alone boggles my mind. And I'm constantly covering all these stories. And the things that we're talking about right now are the kinds of announcements that fundamentally shift what this city becomes over the next decade. We're talking self-driving cars with confirmed launch dates, air taxis mapping actual flight routes, federal data showing Orlando beat Austin, beat Las Vegas, beat Miami in categories that actually matter when you're counting for long-term growth. And team, the things that I'm going to show you today, they're not just renderings that might happen someday, they're on the books. We're talking signed contracts, approved budgets, construction timelines, and opening dates that are already locked in. So back at it, today we're breaking the 15 biggest stories from the past month that you need to know about. And the story that I'm starting with happens to explain just why everything on the list that we're going over is actually going to take place. Number 15, Orlando wins the Triple Crown. That's right, Orlando just did something that no other major US metro has done. We rank number 1 in job growth, number 1 in population growth, and number 1 in nominal GDP growth among the 30 most populous regions in North America. Let me break down what I just said. Orlando last year added 37,500 new jobs with year-over-year employment growth revised to plus 2.5%. My friends, that's good for the highest job growth rate among the 30 largest metros, and it's the first time that Orlando's actually led the nation in this category since 2016. Key sectors driving the momentum include healthcare, which added nearly 7,000 jobs, and tourism, which gained another 7,700 jobs. But the real story is in the tech sector, as well as financial services firms like BNY Mellon and Charles Schwab, and local success stories like ThreatLocker, all expanding at the exact same time. When it comes to population growth, the Census Bureau released earlier in 2025 revealed that Orlando's population grew nearly 3% in 2024, which again was also the highest rate among the 30 most populous metros. Between July 2023 and July 2024, the metro added 76,000 new residents, bringing the total population to 2.94 million. That's the roughly 1,500 new residents added every single week, a figure you've heard thrown around a lot this past 6 or 7 months. Now, since 2020, Orlando's gained nearly 270,000 new residents, with nearly 65% of those new residents coming internationally. And with increase in jobs and population, Orlando's nominal GDP followed with a surge in 2024, fueled by strong job growth, the growing population, and increasing industry diversity. This Triple Crown isn't a fluke. It's the result of targeted economic development, infrastructure investment, and a region that's become a magnet for people and businesses. And when you have a city posting these kinds of numbers, major companies around the globe, they're going to start to pay attention. And that brings us to one of the biggest corporate moves of the year in number 14. Siemens Energy relocates 3,000 employees to Lake Nona. That's right, Siemens Energy just announced plans to relocate its U.S. headquarters from the UCF Research Park to Lake Nona. This move will bring nearly 3,000 employees to a brand new campus designed for collaboration, sustainability, and hybrid work. Siemens has been in Orlando for over 40 years, and this relocation set for 2027 is a massive vote of confidence for the region's business climate. The new Lake Nona campus puts them in one of the nation's most dynamic and innovative communities, surrounded by health, life sciences, sports, tech, and education clusters. As we know, the area is walkable, it's connected to restaurants, hotels, wellness amenities, and vibrant public spaces. So for Siemens Energy, this isn't just about office space. It's about talent recruitment, employee well-being, and long-term growth in a district that's designed around quality of life. The relocation also leverages Orlando's unmatched connectivity with immediate access to the Orlando International Airport nearby, Brightline's high-speed rail, and major roadways that are going to connect to the state's business corridors and global markets. This is what high-wage job creation actually looks like. But if you think a 3,000 employee headquarter move is futuristic, wait until you hear what's hitting Orlando streets in the next 90 days. Because number 13, Waymo Robo-Taxis are officially confirmed for early 2026. On November 2024, Waymo explicitly announced the fully autonomous self-driving taxis are coming to Orlando in early 2026. Testing has already been spotted around town, but official confirmation dropped in late November and made Orlando one of the first 10 US cities to get this technology. These are fully autonomous vehicles with no one behind the wheel. You'll open the Waymo app, request a ride, The car shows up, you get in, and it takes you to where you're going, or wherever it wants to take you, but probably where you're going. Obviously, I'm kidding because Orlando is becoming a major autonomous mobility hub, and this rollout positions the city as a testing ground for the next generation of transportation. Self-driving cars on the ground are impressive, but Orlando's not stopping there. We're also going vertical, and the state's backing it up with a massive infrastructure investment. Because for number 12, we're talking air taxis and the Moving Florida Forward transportation package. Team, the Orlando International Airport is actively assessing specific electric air taxi routes to the theme park districts as we speak. They're not just talking about flying taxis anymore. We're now studying the actual flight paths that are going to connect MCO directly to vertiports near Universal and Disney. Also in this program, construction on 17 miles of new I-4 express lanes from Hillsborough County starts in 2028. A 100-space truck parking facility addresses a critical need for commercial drivers on one of the busiest freight corridors in the state. And the SunTrax testbed is operational right now, with companies like Joby and Archer Aviation already scheduling test flights. Translation, Jared. It means the state is literally mapping out where flying taxis in many airports will go between Tampa, between Orlando, and the Space Coast. My friends, this isn't concept art anymore. This is a coming site selection, groundworks, and confirmed testing schedules. It is here in a full-out test phase. Now, MCO hosted its Takeoff 2025 event last month, explicitly highlighting plans to develop a vertiport for eVTOL aircraft at the airport by around 2030. They're not just expanding runways, they're building infrastructure for a multimodal future where trains, autonomous cars, and flying taxis all connect at one hub. And speaking of trains, we can't leave out one massive investment that is on the way to connect everything on the ground while we wait for these air taxis to take flight, because number 11, SunRail gets a $100 million investment for airport and theme park expansion. Friends, we've been waiting for this one. Orlando and Orange County just set aside $100 million in local funding towards SunRail's Sunshine Corridor extension. This expansion would link the SunRail to Orlando International Airport, to the Orange County Convention Center, all the way to Disney Springs. This full project is estimated to cost around $4 billion, and this $100 million commitment is a major signal that local leaders are serious about making it happen. And here's why it matters, because right now, if you take the SunRail to the airport, you have to get off at the Sand Lake Road Station and take a free Lynx bus to MCO. It works, but as you can imagine, if you're on the train, you probably want to be closer than that. A direct SunRail connection to the airport eliminates the transfer and turns the train into a real alternative for tourists and commuters. The Sunshine Corridor would also connect the SunRail to Disney Springs and the Convention Center, creating a seamless public transit link between the downtown airport and the theme park district. And here's the kicker. A November 2025 poll from the Orlando Economic Partnership showed 77% of residents would likely ride the SunRail if it connected to the airport and the theme parks, with 50% saying that they'd be very likely. The strong support was consistent across Orange, Osceola, and Seminole counties, which continue to encourage regional effort to develop the corridor. Now, no specific construction dates are set, but that $100 million commitment moved this to a someday thing to we're actively working on it. But there's another major project that will make getting to the airport itself a whole lot easier if you're coming from the north. Because at number 10, the Orlando Sanford Airport is getting a $200 million investment to build a connector from the 417 to the airport. The Central Florida Expressway Authority voted to move forward with Route 2A as the preferred option for a new 2-mile corridor connecting State Road 417 directly to the Orlando Sanford International Airport. The vote came after more than a year of studying 5 possible routes for the project. Now, CFX officials say that Route 2A offers the best balance between improving the airport access and limiting impacts to homes and environments around it. Now, the connector is expected to ease congestion to local roads like East Lake Mary Boulevard and try and make the airport significantly easier to reach for those coming from the south. The preferred alternative proposes a 2-lane connector road with a 150-foot wide right-of-way. The plan will include retaining walls and enhanced fencing to limit wildlife access to the corridor. Now, the presentation I saw, the selected route is the most direct option with the lowest effect on wetlands, and it optimizes roadway geometry for safety. The total project cost is estimated at $200.4 million that CFX does not currently have funds in its pockets to cover it. Now, the projected income from the toll is $48.1 million, but they'll need to find additional funding sources. Once completed, the connector is expected to reduce traffic on East Lake Mary Boulevard by 46%. So we got robo-taxis on the ground, air taxis in the sky, SunRail connecting downtown to the theme parks, and new expressway connectors to the airports. And all of this is because passenger volume to Orlando is surging through both Sanford and MCO. And that'd be a 10% jump over the previous year's 57.7 million. Orlando area homeowners, don't pay too much when you list your house. I'm Jared Jones and I list your home for just 3% so you can save thousands. Make one call, that's all, and start packing.
Jared Jones is the way to go. Call 706-5000.
So we have to talk about number 9, MCO hitting 60 million passengers and continuously expanding for it. To give you a point of comparison, that's similar to the amount of annual passenger growth for the last 3 years combined in a single year. Now, this has been fun for planning because Kevin Thibault, the CEO of MCO, says that they're usually planning for 2 to 3% annual increase in passenger volume, which means they've got to completely rethink their expansion timelines. The South Terminal Complex is the future. Terminal C is getting 24 more gates. Terminal D is in active planning right now. Now, when Terminal C is fully built out, it'll handle 60 million passengers on its own. Terminal D will have capacity for another 60 million passengers. Terminals A and B, by contrast, were designed for 25 million passengers, and they've been squeezing out more capacity out of them than they should. Other upgrades coming to Terminal C include a pedestrian bridge, which will connect Brightline passengers directly to the terminal with moving sidewalks and including a new hotel. They're also planning a consolidated rental car facility on the south side near the 417, which will free up 5,000 parking spaces in the existing garages. Now, the airport just received $61.9 million from the FAA to expand the Terminal C apron, and they're planning for a future where MCO isn't just an airport, it becomes the multimodal transportation hub connecting trains and cars and aircraft in one place. Now, all of this infrastructure growth is creating opportunities for advanced industries beyond tourism. Case in point, Central Florida's emerging semiconductor hub, because in number 8 story, Neo City hits national spotlight with an EPA visit and new partnerships announced. In November, the administrator for the EPA visited Neo City in Osceola County, highlighting it as a critical national hub for microelectronics. Notable in that visit were new partnership agreements with Incheon Airport to establish direct flights and trade links between South Korea and Central Florida. This is huge for Neo City's global positioning. The site had already secured over $500 million in federal and state support just over the past 18 months alone, and it's one of the anchors for Central Florida's semiconductor industry. Notable too, the NSF Regional Innovation Engines Award was announced last year, giving the engine up to $15 million in initial funding with the potential to receive up to $160 million over 10 years. Neo City isn't just a tech park. It's becoming a globally recognized hub for advanced manufacturing, clean tech, and high-wage jobs in a sector that the US government has identified as critical to national security. And the Incheon Airport partnership is a signal that international companies are viewing Central Florida as a serious player in the global semiconductor supply chain. With all this economic growth, there's a question the city has to answer. How do you make sure that people who actually work here can afford to live here? And just this past month, a major step forward came through in addressing that. Because in story number 7, we're going to talk about how Orange County just approved nearly 200 affordable housing units. Orange County had 2 items on the agenda for November for the disposition of a city-owned property specifically aimed at affordable housing. The 2 proposed projects would add a total of 167 affordable units to the housing inventory. One project offers a range of apartment sizes, including 3 and 4 bedroom apartments designed for families. The other adds units specifically for senior residents. Now, both projects will include permanent supportive housing, which combines affordable housing with wraparound support services to address the needs of people experiencing chronic homelessness. The city of Orlando is trying to show its commitment that every resident, regardless of academic status, has access to quality housing. Now, through the Orlando Unlocked Housing Initiative, they're working to make it easier for developers to deliver the residential units that community needs. Now, taken together with giant private projects and job growth numbers, these affordable housing moves show the city is attempting to tackle both sides of the transformation narrative. Because on one side, you have all this booming investment and booming demand, and all that does is constantly put pressure on everyday residents and what they can afford here. So housing is a constant challenge that comes with a city that's wrestling with massive growth at all times. And healthcare is the other. And downtown Orlando is about to get a major upgrade on that particular front, which brings us to story number 6, which is HCA's Florida's downtown ER is nearing completion. A $21 million freestanding emergency room near Creative Village broke ground and is set to open in early 2026. And it's not just another medical office. It's going to be a full 24/7 emergency room designed to serve the booming downtown population, with 8,000 construction jobs on the way as part of HCA's broader Central Florida push. The facility will provide critical emergency care to residents and students from UCF and Valencia's downtown campuses, as well as workers in the Creative Village district. It's part of HCA Florida's larger strategy to expand access across Central Florida, especially in areas that have been underserved or population growth is outpacing the existing infrastructure there. And for downtown Orlando, this one's a game changer. As more people move into the downtown area, as the Creative Village continues to build out, and as the urban core becomes a true 24/7 neighborhood, having immediate emergency medical care available becomes essential. The project addresses Orlando's growth pain head on, turning what used to be a healthcare desert into a district with immediate access to critical care services. But the downtown also seeing a transformation on the residential and commercial side because Creative Village is pushing forward on another mixed-use project we have to talk about. Because story number 5, Creative Village pushes forward on a 122-unit mixed-use building. The story is Craig Usler is moving ahead with plans for a 7-story mixed-use building in Creative Village. The project plan: 122 market rate apartments, 14,500 square feet of retail space, and 2 office suites on the second floor. The site is Lot 7, right next to the Luminary Green Park, and Usler's group is paying $2.8 million for the land. The U-shaped building has a massive courtyard and links the park to the Dr. Phillips Academic Commons building. Now, the ground floor facing the park gets a sit-down restaurant and a cafe with outdoor seating. The rest of the commercial space is going to target health, wellness, and fitness tenants. The 222-space parking garage gets wrapped on 3 sides, and they're budgeting $50,000 for a mural to cover the visible section facing Chatham Avenue. Usler's already completed Union West, the Julian, and the EA Sports headquarters in Creative Village, so this isn't his first rodeo. Creative Village is a 68-acre development on the site of the old Amway Arena, and it's becoming the connective tissue between downtown, between UCF's downtown campus, and the future Westcourt district. This project goes to the Orlando City Council any day now or into January of 26, and if approved, construction is going to take around 2 years. Urban development downtown is critical, but the suburbs are exploding too, and Orange County is investing millions to make sure quality of life keeps up with growth. Because at number 4, Horizon West Regional Park gets $5 million for Phase 1B. Big news, Orange County approved the construction contract for Phase 1B of Horizon West Regional Park in the past 2 months, and work starting soon. This is a 215-acre park at Hamlin Groves Trail and Man Road and is about to get a massive upgrade because Phase 1B brings a large splash pad, more sidewalks, additional parking, a 3rd picnic shelter, and a pavilion on the west side of the playground. They're also adding a floating dock and a kayak launch in Lake Hartley. That's really nice. But here's the part that really matters for community events. They're building a big open green space specifically designed for farmers markets, festivals, and outdoor gatherings. Commissioner Nicole Wilson says the park should open any day now to the public, even while other construction phases continue on into the future. Phase 1B is slated to wrap up in 2027 or 28, and then Phase 2 is going to kick off, and we're talking baseball fields, pickleball courts, and a dog park, and a disc golf course, and a botanical garden. Let's go Phase 2! Everybody's homes in this area will double by 2029. You heard it here first. Now don't quote me on that. It's gonna help though. It's gonna help. It's gonna help a lot. I tell you team, I lose it towards the end of these updates. It's a lot to talk about. All in all, this is a $5 million quality of life investment in a part of the metro that's adding thousands of residents every single year. And it's all funded through property taxes via the county's general fund, turning growth into actual amenities that people can use. Parks are just one piece of the puzzle, but Orange County is also making serious moves to diversify the economy beyond the theme parks and tourism. Because number 3 story is Orange County dropping $25 million on film production. Orange County commissioners just unanimously approved a $25 million film incentive program spread out over 5 years. That's $5 million let out a year, and here's how it works. Qualifying film projects get 20% cash rebate up to $1 million per project if they spend at least $400,000 of that locally. The translation? Orlando's making a serious play to pull production away from Atlanta and Miami. Let's go. We've already got the infrastructure, the crew base, the studio space, and now it's got financial incentive that makes producers actually pick up the phone and consider where they want to shoot here in Orlando. This isn't about a single movie. This is about building a sustainable production economy that brings high-paying jobs and creative talent and hundreds of millions of dollars in economic activity every single year. As I said, the vote was unanimous. The money's allocated. The program launches next year. Economic diversification is the strategy. But on the ground, you can see Orlando's transformation is actually happening through its entertainment scene. And Disney, my friends, just opened something that shows just how far the theme park technology is actually coming. Because story number 2, Disney opens Zootopia show with next-gen animatronics at Animal Kingdom. That's right, November 7th, Disney just opened Zootopia, Better Zootopia, at Animal Kingdom, replacing its Tough to Be a Bug inside the Tree of Life Theater. Who's sad to see it go? Were you sad to see a Bug's Life Theater go? Did you ever go? Drop in the comments, let me know. But Zootopia is the first new attraction at Animal Kingdom in years, and it's a showcase for where Disney animatronic technology is heading. This is a 10-minute 4D show that was created by the same animation team behind Zootopia 2, which hits theaters later this month. It features the original voice cast, Jennifer Godwin as Judy Hopps, Jason Bateman as Nick Wilde, and Nate Torrance as Benjamin Clawhauser. But the real star of the show is the Clawhauser animatronic. Set on a rig on the right side of the theater, this thing is highly expressive, with detailed facial movements, eyebrows, cheeks, grins, and realistic hand and paw articulation. And here's what makes it different from previous Disney animatronics. The eyes are mechanical, not screens. That might sound like a small detail, but it makes the character feel significantly more real. Disney has another Clawhauser animatronic in Shanghai, but that one used the screen-based eyes. This Orlando version illustrates the next generation of technology. The show also includes 4D effects like water sprayers, fans, wind machines, smokes, seat rumble, back massagers, pulling you deeper into the experience. There's no back massagers. Sorry, parents. The lighting on Clawhauser is intentional as well. It gets brighter as he moves, matching different biomes in the story, and slightly darker when the focus shifts on the screen. While Disney pushes hard with the animatronic tech, Orlando's food and culture scene is evolving just as fast, and we have to talk about November bringing a wave of new openings that show exactly where the city's lifestyle is heading. Because the number one story is exactly that. The new wave of restaurants in Arch Square signal cultural shifts in Orlando. And let's start with the speakeasy trend. Nabe opened in Dr. Phillips, which is a speakeasy style hot pot restaurant hidden inside Nola's ice cream shop. You literally walk through a freezer door to get into a Wagyu hot pot dining room. Noir opened inside of Tele Thai, a hidden craft cocktail tapas bar that's also adding to Orlando's growing list of secret venues. Osteria Astaire opened mid-November in Thornton Park, taking over the former Soko space. It's from the Good Salt Restaurant Group, the team behind Monroe and Celto Sushi, and it's a major addition to the neighborhood dining scene. We have Cowboy Curry just opened on Mills 50, a scratch-made Japanese beef curry pot by Chef William Shin, who earned a Michelin star at Sorokara. This one went from a pop-up to a permanent, and it's another sign that Mills 50 is cementing its reputation as one of the finest food districts in Florida. Then we have to talk about Hamlin House, which is part restaurant, part pickleball, and part social club coming to Hamlin. It's got a rooftop, multiple bars, and large patios, and it's the perfect visual example of how Horizon West suburbs are evolving into live, work, play communities. Walter's Tavern opened in the Packing District, tying into that whole master plan redevelopment north of College Park. The rudder for food culture in Orlando right now is food halls, speakeasy bars, pickleball clubs, and craft breweries. And downtown Orlando is also getting a completely new type of public space that blends art, technology, and community. Downtown Orlando just opened Art Squared, an urban pocket park at Orange and Robinson that's part public space and part digital art installation. The park features a massive LED video wall for rotating digital art, a 2-story shipping container structure, and a lineup of food trucks. This is the physical embodiment of the new downtown philosophy, blending tech and art and community gathering in one spot. And it's small, it's walkable, it's designed to pull people off the street into a space that feels more like an outdoor gallery than a traditional park. The LED wall rotates local international digital artists, giving the park constantly changing visual identity. And the shipping container setup allows for flexible programming, pop-up events, and temporary installation without major construction. It's scrappy, it's creative, and it's exactly the kind of projects that signal downtown Orlando is evolving beyond just office towers and parking garages. Food culture, public art, signal lifestyle transformation. But we can't wrap this up without talking about the theme park industry, where Epic Universe absolutely dominated the conversation in November. Epic Universe swept the Thea Awards and November, winning 4 awards for outstanding achievement. How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk won for the theme park land category. Harry Potter and the Battle of Ministry won for ride experience. And Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment, won for the attraction category. These are peer-judged awards and are among the highest honors in the attraction industry. But here's what's even more interesting. Permits filed in early November suggest that Universal is already planning an expansion. Filings for a 150,000 square foot building hint that they're aggressive about growing this park even before it celebrates its first anniversary. Epic Universe just opened in May, and immediately it's become the most talked about theme park in decades. And with that, Universal signaling that they're not done with it. They're going to stack more capacity, more attractions, and more reasons to visit before the competition can catch up. And with that, the IAAPA Expo brought 38,000 industry professionals to Orlando last month. The city reinforced its identity as the global capital theme park of entertainment. Every new coaster, dark ride, and immersive experience you'll see worldwide over the next decade probably got pitched at the Orange County Convention Center show last month. So there you have it. 15 major stories from just the past 45 days that show Orlando isn't just growing, it's completely transforming. We're leading the nation in jobs, population, and economic growth. Waymo Robo-Taxis launch in 90 days. Air taxis are mapping flight routes and testing SunTrax facilities right now. Let's continue the conversation in the comments. Which story excites you the most? And which priority do you think Orlando should focus on next? Did I help you understand the marketplace better here in Orlando? And if I did, make me this promise that when you're ready to buy or sell in Florida, you'll remember this moment and give me the opportunity to earn your business. Even outside of Orlando, I can help you by connecting you with a trusted agent. I honestly do not make these videos for ad revenue. I make them to build a relationship with you before you need me. So please, if I've added value, do me a favor and commit right now to give me a chance when the time is right. And if you haven't done so already, do me a favor, drop down below, smash the thumbs up. It'd mean a lot to me and help the channel. Consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates on growth, housing market, and data news across the Orlando market.
Jared Jones is the way to go. Call 706-5000.
If you're in the Central Florida area and you're looking for a great church, I'd love for you to join me at the Grove Bible Chapel. Just visit joinmeatthegrove.com for full details.